Okay, so grain of the wood, you've got to think about it as lots of long lines going up and down the tree. Okay, so you can almost picture it as just like a bundle of fibres stuck together, and a good idea of that is bamboo skewers. So just imagine all of that is just bamboo skewers in one long line. So what I've done is got some of them, just stuck them together flat. I've got one that snapped off already in a previous take by mistake. Didn't realise I hadn't pressed record. But I've already done it at an angle. So we're going to pretend that we're actually cutting it down at an angle, like what I can show here. So there's your fibres. If we're going to cut that, what you need to do is you need to cut downhill. So it just skates off the top of the fibres. If you cut upwards, it catches on the ends of them. Obviously you've got to imagine this is on a smaller scale, but that's why it's happening. But this way it just shows it really well. So as you're cutting up, it catches them, whereas if you cut down, it just skates across the top. Okay? So two ways you're going to be cutting. If you're cutting a dip like this, you need to cut from the top down to the bottom, stop, cut from the top down to the bottom. If you're doing a bulge over like this, you see the grains running, you start at the top and you cut down, top, cut down. Because if you do it the opposite ways, each way, so if you started at the bottom here and go up, these bits of grain are going to get caught and lifted. And then the same as if you start at the bottom here and go up, the grain gets lifted there, because the knife blade just hooks underneath. So if I show you on here, you slice it into the bottom, slice it into the bottom. Might not be perfect, but we can just go back and just do a little finishing puff. Now you can see it's not perfect, so just gentle cuts. Yeah, so smooth finish. If you're cutting in and trying to go up in the same motion, then you can see the tearing. Yeah, so it's cut surface and a torn surface. And if you're literally cutting that off up, how raggedy that is. I mean, you can't do that better. You've got to slice that off. It doesn't have to be big, powerful cuts each time. I'm not going to do anything too prying, as an example, because this is quite a delicate blade. Yeah. You just got to extrapolate it out as to what you're doing, whether you need to take a wider curve, but you know, you're not trying to take everything off in one go. The more you practice, the more intuitive it will become.